Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast, now known as Super Jeff's World. A little bit of housekeeping that needs to be done. We did a podcast. It was formerly called the No Prize Podcast, and then somebody came up to me and they were like, there's already a podcast with that name. You got to change it. And then I was like, all right, well, this sucks. And me and the Stupendous Wave, who was also here, by the way.
Were they rude about it?
No, they weren't. They were super nice. So I was just making fun of somebody who just is a genuinely nice person that came to me, and they were very kind. Anyway, we were like, what do we call this thing? And we always have this inside joke where we call each other Jeff because of the meme of the 22 Jump Street thing where it's like, my name is Jeff. So we were just like, let's just call it Super Jeff's World. Like, fuck it, who cares? So SJW, and yeah, it's like it's got a funny acronym. You know, it's a good name, lots of positivity here. So let's see how long this lasts before somebody goes, Super Jeff's World is already taken. So, but anyway, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
You doing good?
We went to a new gym. We're going to a new gym.
Yep.
Just fun. Mm-hmm. We moved from like a stupid gym to like it was a good gym. We got some stuff done.
It reminds me of the scene in Creed when they go to that really shitty gym and they're like, it'll get the job done.
Which Creed?
The first Creed.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember
that? Oh,
that?
yeah, I do. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what that gym reminds me of. But also it reminds me of a really terrible gym because, like...
The water fountain was broken for 2 years.
Yeah, the water fountain in this gym that we've been going to has been broken for over 2 years. Nobody's ever fixed it. And if you think there's one thing that any gym needs to provide people, it's water. They only have... So there's like the 2 water fountains, and there's like the smaller one. And the smaller one is the one that works. The taller one is the one that's broken. So if you even want water, because you didn't bring your water bottle or you ran out of the water, it's like you have to crouch all the way over to sip on this stupid water fountain.
It's not even cold.
Yeah, it's not. It's like it's lukewarm and the water pressure is just shit. So it's like you gotta like really struggle to get that water. It's terrible. So anyway, now we go to a nicer gym that has one of those awesome water fountains that like fills your water bottle. Like, you know, from the top down. I discovered that today. It was amazing. I love it.
I'm going to have a water fountain in my house.
Yeah.
I love that idea.
That's a really good idea.
Don't you? Right there.
That would be a good place. Just on your wall.
Yeah. Why not, dude?
Yeah, that would be good.
I want one.
Yeah.
I just decided.
All right.
Also a tiger.
A tiger. To go with your water.
A tiger water fountain. A water fountain, like, with tiger designs on it.
Okay. I could see that.
Me too.
That screams you.
It's a Rocky thing.
That's
I watched Rocky 2 last night.
the whole movie?
Yeah. No, I fell asleep right before the fight.
True.
Like, literally, like, a second before the fight.
I mean, after that run we went on last night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, let's talk about that. So, I've been going on a few runs recently. To try and drop a little body fat so that my muscles pop a little bit more. So I was like casually thinking to myself, oh, my bud Anthony, he's pretty in shape, right? I mean, like we play basketball together, we play volleyball, and he's like not good at it, but he like can move. I mean, is he talented at sports? No. It's like you say. It's like you can be strong. Strong and athletic are two different things.
Absolutely.
You're strong. You are one of the least athletic people I have ever met.
And this is something that I'm the first person to admit. The first time I ever actually played basketball with Stoops, I had to explain that to him. He was like, dude, come on. Like, you know, you're going to be great at this. And I was like, I'm not an athlete, man. And he was like, no, but you're like strong, you know, you do good in the gym, so like you'll be fine here. And I was like, there's such a big difference between being able to lift weights and being able to throw a ball. They're just completely different things. And whenever we're doing any of this stuff, whether it's basketball or volleyball, or we even play other like games with a big group of people, it's like it's always just the funniest thing when I'm like trying because I'm so unsuccessful. We were just playing volleyball last night. and I was punching the ball. I wouldn't like actually do it correctly. I would like form one fist, one hand, punch the ball, like drive it right into the net or something. It was hilarious, but it's always a great time because I'm kind of like the terrible guy in the group that just sucks. So whenever I do something correctly, everybody cheers, and it's like this super triumphant moment, and nobody believes it, and I'm just like, guys, I did it. It's a really good moment. But anyway,
I'm not great at volleyball either, though. I mean, like, I'm okay, but basketball is my sport. Yeah, I enjoy basketball a great deal. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty fun.
You're a killer at basketball.
Aw, thank you.
No problem.
Anyway, back to the running thing. Yeah. So we had this route that we were gonna run. It's 3 miles, which is like not that bad. It's like I live in a gated community, so it's like a mile from my house to the gate, and then it's like half a mile from my house to the gate, and like 2 miles around a loop that you run, and then it's like half a mile back, right? So we do this run, and generally on runs, like you run, right? You don't walk. So Anthony's been telling me for like months, like, I've run every day, bro. Like, I'm pretty good at it. I'm like really good at running. You've said this before. And so I was like, oh, my bud can take it. My bud's a star. My bud is an athlete, despite what he says. I was wrong. Anthony made noises last night that I have never heard before. You know, like that people have pride levels, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like some people have a lot of pride, but it's like you push them past a certain point and all pride goes out.
Yeah.
Like zero pride left. That was you.
Yeah.
That was you.
Yeah. So,
sir, recreate the noises that you made last night.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you do. Do it.
So I was breathing really heavy, and when I've gone running in the past, there was probably about like a half a year in my life where I was running very regularly, and this was about 2 years ago, and I was doing it to lose weight, and when I would run on this 2 mile trail, and I would generally like run until I got tired, and then I'd walk a little bit, and then when I felt like I was good, I'd keep running, and then I'd stop, and I would take a lot of breaks, but I would try to like I wanted like at least 2/3 of it to be running, and then the rest, like I wasn't too concerned about walking.
You ran until you were uncomfortable.
Yeah, until I was uncomfortable, and it did the job. I lost a lot of weight doing that, but it wasn't like endurance. And I was like, yeah, running is something I can do. And when I was running with Stoops here last night, first time I've run with him
in years,
and first time we really tried. And the last time we ran together, I weighed almost like
300 pounds.
Yeah, almost 300 pounds. So it was a different story. But last night we're running, and the first half mile there was no break, and I'm like, that's the first time I've ever done that. That was insane. So I'm like, I'm pretty tired after that half mile.
There's 2.5 miles.
Yeah, there's 2.5 miles left, and I'm just like, there are cats making noises in here, by the way. I'm just concerned at this point. I'm like, okay, we basically ran a half mile to get to the running. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm tired, but I'm determined. I'm like, I'm gonna get this done. So we keep running, and then every so often, very few times,
we took a lot of breaks.
Yeah,
in my experience.
Okay, yes, you take less breaks when you run than I do when I run. But in all fairness, I don't run very frequently. I used to, but that was years ago. But at a certain point, I was absolutely convinced I was going to die last night. And it was about 2 miles into the whole thing. I was just done. Like, my feet hurt.
You got to explain the whole, like, you turn the corner and you think you're over. You think it's over.
So, like, this trail that we went on, it's basically like this big loop. And there was a point about 2 miles in where I thought that we were back where we started.
Like back by the gate.
Yeah, back by the gate. So it was like, okay, so there's like a half mile left. And that's fine. Like, I could do that. But I didn't think like, oh, I could do that. Like, I was determined. It was like, I could do that so I could stop. And I'm going to like make so much noise and basically cry the whole way there. And then
At this point, Anthony is making noises like this. Like, that's not a joke.
it was
Like, he made noises like... It made my running hard because I was trying not to laugh because I knew he was really. It was like a woman going through labor. Like, you literally sounded like you were giving birth at certain points.
I think I was.
There was one point where there was a lady walking out of her house, and Anthony had his headphones on at this point in time, and I was in front of him, so I don't, or was, oh no, I was behind you
were
because
behind
I was like, you got to run in front of me because I'm not going to let you stop anymore. So I was like, okay, Anthony's in front of me, and I'm behind him, and I'm just like, not going to let him stop. I'm going to like kick him if he stops. Anyway, he walks right, he runs past his house, and then this lady walks out, like an older black lady, and Anthony picked the perfect time, little did he know, with his headphones in, and he did this. Fuck!
I was completely unaware that that person was there, and when I heard that I even did that, I didn't even remember saying that.
You had headphones in, but you
Yeah.
were super loud.
Apparently I was loud. But you know what? I knew I was loud before I was like really listening to music. And like I can't imagine how much worse it was with the headphones on. But that was like, it was absolutely just agonizing torture. And when we got back, I just like collapsed on the couch, and I was convinced, like, okay, my legs are never gonna work again. And here's a way to put this into a perspective where you could tell just how scared I was. Like, I went to the bathroom, and my first thought before peeing was, oh, I hope this works. Like, I was convinced I was like going to pee blood like Creed does in the second Creed movie.
Anthony, you're going to look back at this podcast in like a year and
Yeah.
just be like so sad.
I'm sad now. I'm not. I wouldn't be shocked if I was sad in the future. But yeah, like.
Did you have a good time though?
No. The last thing I had was a good time.
But did you learn something about yourself?
Yeah, I learned two things. I learned, wow, I'm not good at that, and wow, I got it done.
Exactly.
It was those two things.
There was a point where you sat down. We had half a mile left, and I said, "Do you want me to go get my car and pick you up?"
I couldn't let you do that. Like, I know that. Would it be easier? Yes, obviously. It would be much easier to just sit down on the concrete and then just wait for you. But then I was like, if I let you do that, I would literally never hear the end of it. Like, every single day. If we were working out in the gym, because we go to the gym basically every single day together. If we were working out and I was struggling on, like, you know, any sort of weight, you would probably say something like, do you need me to come pick you up, or are you going to lift that weight? And then I'm going to be like, you're an asshole. Why are you so mean to me? But also, I appreciate you. You're a good friend. That was just torture. But it was fun, though. I genuinely feel good about it.
Yeah.
I feel good that I finished it, and I feel like I could definitely get better at it over time.
Next time will be easier.
Yeah.
You're going to be mentally prepared. Your body's going to be aware of
Yeah.
what it's about to go through. Because, like, it's going to suck still, but it's going to be, like, significantly easier.
Yeah.
Like, promise.
Cool.
Like, completely doable.
Well, I am excited, lying through my teeth. I see this as something like I definitely want to keep up, and I know I could get better at it, and it's just like an endurance thing. I've never really trained for endurance, which is a good thing for me to have, but I see it being something that I could do. If I could do it that time, I could definitely do it with more practice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, sure, I struggled like crazy yesterday, but I mean, that means that I'm just going to be better as I keep going.
And you did it.
I did it. So if I could do it while I struggle, that means I'll be able to do it without struggling so much when I'm better at it.
And you only, like, stopped when we weren't supposed to stop, like, 3 times. That was it.
Oh.
3 or 4
Felt like
times.
more.
No, yeah. No, I think about it now, it was way more.
It was definitely more.
But, like, the first half, till you got to the second mile, you hadn't stopped very much.
Yeah.
At one point, I was like, so it's Christmas time, and I was like, we're not going to stop till we get to those Christmas lights. And I just heard you go, no!
Yeah, it's just like when you start like setting those goals of like running towards that thing,
Yeah.
you know, it comes by quicker, I feel like. But
It
as
does.
the run keeps going and you keep slowing down, at least when I keep slowing down, I think you kept your pace pretty well. Like those things just seem far all the time. Even if I get closer, it's like that vertigo feeling where it's like if you were walking like through a hallway and it's like as you walk closer, it gets farther away.
Yeah.
It's like that's what it feels like sometimes. But I
And
mean,
you weren't listening to me when I told you, like, put your hands on your head or don't, like, kneel over, like, bend over. When you bend over, you cut off the oxygen.
Yeah, I
flow.
know you like compress your lungs so you can't really expand them anymore. But also, I wasn't hunched over to catch my breath. I was hunched over to like feel my calf muscle because it was on fire and I needed to do something to ease that pain. And in reality, there's really not much you could do. But it's like just stopping and like grabbing it for some reason helps me mentally. I don't know why. It's just it's hard. Like I don't know. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy unless like they were trying to
There
better
are people
themselves.
that run marathons.
Yeah. You know what was funny too is I had thought to myself before yesterday, oh, maybe one day I could do a marathon. You know, like a 5K. I could probably do a 5K. Sure, I don't expect to finish like first at all.
This is a 5K, like 3 miles, right? 3.5, something like that.
Yeah, but like now I realize like if I were to do that, like, and I was doing it by myself or something, I didn't have somebody pushing me, I'd just fail. I'd be the last one to cross the line. But I mean,
It's 3.1 miles.
3.1
You just
miles.
you basically ran 5K last night.
oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now I don't feel so bad.
Yeah, no, don't feel bad.
All right,
People train for those.
yeah,
Those are like training.
maybe we should do that one day. Run a 5K.
I want to do an Ironman.
Oh, what's that?
It's like where you run and there's obstacles too.
Yeah, isn't that the same as a Spartan race?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I may be thinking of Spartan.
Yeah, I know that there's like
One of the two of them.
you
But
know
I
how
want to do that.
when you get to an obstacle and you can't do it, they make you do burpees.
Yeah.
That's the part that
Have
kills
you
me.
ever done burpees?
I've done them. I've never done them like as a way to train or like, you know, exercise. I've just done them to see how they feel, and they're terrible.
The only thing worse than burpees is stadiums.
Is that
It's where you like just run up and down
run
a
up
stadium.
and- yeah.
Because I played high school football, so stadiums are the worst.
Yeah.
Running up and down a stadium, and it's like different drills where it's like skip every other step, right? Like skip it, and then it's like, okay, jump on one foot up it, and then switch the other foot down. You have like people like falling over, and like they're fun. They're the only thing worse.
Yeah.
That is the worst exercise. Indian runs are bad too.
What's
if you have
that?
a coach that's like a big asshole. An Indian run is where you run in a line, you jog in a line around a field, and then every time someone blows a whistle, the coach, the guy from the back of the line has to sprint
has
to the
run
front of the line.
Yeah.
And I've done that for like, we lost one game really bad, and
Yeah.
our coach made us do it for like 40 minutes.
Damn.
So it's like a 40-minute jog, like at the pace that we went last night. Only the guy at the back has to sprint to the front every time he blows a whistle.
That sounds awful. And how long is that line?
So football team is what? Depends on the team. There could be 60 people on a football
Oh,
team.
jeez. Sounds terrible.
It is terrible.
Like, I remember last night, too, like, there were moments where, like, I really felt good after all of the bad, so I would really try to go for it and, like, get a good pace going, but it doesn't last long at all. It's like a few seconds.
You lasted like 15 seconds.
Yeah, and then you get really tired, but it's like, whenever I hit those moments, it's like I want to go for them, just because I know if I don't, I'll just keep this, like, slow pace, and no matter what, if I didn't go for that pace, I'd still slow down.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And keep in mind, though, like the Indian run and stuff is after a football practice.
Yeah.
After,
So
like,
you're already done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After like being hit, drills, running through the plays, then it's like they call it conditioning.
Yeah.
So
I have no experience playing football in high school because I was not on a football team. I was in the marching band. But I do remember my freshman year of high school. I would play football just like casually with my friends. And there was this one moment that was really great where I caught the ball, which is a shocker in itself. And there was this guy, he was running at me and he was going to tackle me. So I panicked and I slapped him in the face. I slapped him so hard. And it was like, I knew it sucked. And I looked at this guy and I was like, dude, that wasn't me. That was instinct. I didn't mean to do that to you. I am sorry. And he was like, it's all right. And I was so shocked because honestly, I absolutely deserved to get my ass kicked, but he spared me. It was really just a great moment in my life.
were you wearing pads?
No, I was wearing shorts.
Was
and
it
a
tackle
t-shirt.
football or was it two-hand touch?
It was tackle.
Wow.
Yeah.
I only played tackle football once without pads, and
Yeah.
I hurt myself really badly.
It was tackle only because everybody in high school who was not on a football team, but they're like, oh yeah, we're going to just play football during
Right.
PE, which in my high school was called HOPE. I don't know why.
That is strange.
Yeah, it was called HOPE. There was an acronym for like Health Operations People Eat. I don't know. That's not it, obviously. I just can't remember it.
Just call it physical.
It's something physical education. I don't know. Who gives a shit?
Your high school's dumb.
Health orthodontist
Physical
education. I can't remember, but it was terrible because everybody was just like, "Yeah, we're gonna play tackle," and it's like, "All right."
And your teacher was like, "Go for it."
Our teacher barely existed, man. Like,
Those are the best classes. You know those classes in high school? You never find them before high school.
yeah,
But in high school, it's like the teacher that has just had enough.
absolutely.
I have had some bad teachers, but like I have seen some students just be awful to teachers.
Yeah,
Some teachers like just get walked over, and it is so sad.
yeah,
Do you remember like being in junior high and high school and just witnessing that, and just like how bad you feel for that person?
absolutely.
You see like a teacher who's like an older man, nice as can be, gonna give you every opportunity to succeed, but he's got like a type B personality.
Yeah.
He's just naturally submissive.
Yeah,
And it's like the people just walk all over him. Especially like, this is gonna sound awful, but it's like I've always experienced that like girls at that age will take more advantage of like those people.
yeah,
I remember being in classes and there was this Hispanic girl and she was bigger and she was just like so loud and so mean and so aggressive. She would literally walk out of the class and like flip desks over as she walked out of the class.
Oh, that's crazy.
And there was nothing that this man did. All this man did was like, could you please do your work? I will literally sit here with you and help you. Just please do your work. Just please. And I literally remember him one day, we were taking like a quiz or something, and this girl got up, flipped over 3 desks, walked out of the class, and this poor man just walked over to his desk completely defeated and just put his hands on his head and like put his head down.
Oh man, that sounds terrible.
It was terrible.
I don't know if I ever had a teacher where it was like all they did was get walked on. I know that I definitely had teachers that like occasionally that would happen. I remember especially I had one algebra teacher who like she was incredibly submissive, and there was one test that we had to take, and there was this one kid who didn't do well on it, and she was telling him how he didn't do well, and he looked at her and said, "Hey, does your ass ever get jealous of all the shit that comes out of your mouth?" And you know what my teacher did?
What?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I remember that one moment being really just sad to watch. Because
Yeah.
it's like no 17-year-old kid should be able to do that to any adult.
Right.
But I had a teacher in 10th grade that was awesome. He was the most laid-back dude, couldn't give a fuck what you did in class. And like he would talk about how he smoked weed, and everybody in the class was just like so cool with that. Like oh, he's the best. Like he does drugs. He's really cool. And I was just like, yeah, all right, that's fine. But like the best part about him was like you would do an assignment and like you'd get like a C and he'd be like, "You want an A?" And then you'd be like, "Yeah, of course." And he's like, "All right, I'll give you an A." And he'll just give you an A because he just didn't care. And I remember I had a really sad moment when I got transferred to a different class with a different teacher, and the day I got transferred was the day that I had a big essay due, and I worked really hard on it. And then like I got there and it was like, well, what about this freaking thing I just did? I spent like days working on this goddamn essay, and now it's like I'm just going to a different class and this assignment isn't due anymore. And he was like, yeah, it sucks. And I was like, I did that all for nothing. It was terrible. But
I had moments where like I had taken in junior high so many years of Spanish that like it got to the point where you start earning a high school credit for it.
yeah.
And I remember like being in the toughest Spanish class in high school, and it was like, oh, I got to take Spanish again. Like that's just what I do. Like I sign up for Spanish classes, and I remember walking in like this new term, and the teacher was like, "You took this class last term. Like, what are you doing?" And I'm just like, I just always sign up for Spanish. And he's like, no, you're done. Like, stop. And then I was like, okay. And I just remember thinking, like, what do you want me to do? And he's like, go take the easiest Spanish class, idiot. So I walked down and I signed up for the easiest Spanish class, which is the class where the teacher got all walked over. Which, yeah, I remember that day. He was the defensive line coach for football, so he knew me and stuff. And he was like, what are you doing here, man? You don't want to take the most difficult Spanish twice? You got like a B last time and you know Spanish. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I needed to let me just go get an A.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Can you still remember a lot of that? Because I took Spanish for 2 years. Can't remember a single word. I can barely count to 20.
I took Spanish for like since second grade.
Yeah.
Because I went to like a school, like a stupid school that I hate in Utah. Actually, we could talk about this too.
If you would like.
I absolutely hated my junior high and high school. But it was like I forget what you call it, but it was like a school where like a lot of the subjects were a lot of the subjects. I can barely speak English. Why am I talking about how good I am at Spanish? There were a few subjects where like they were taught by teachers from like Spain. So it's like you were taught math in Spanish, which is horseshit, by the way, because they teach it all wrong.
Yeah.
Or no, they don't teach it wrong. They teach it different. And then you get to high school, and it was like, this shit is backwards. You know what I'm saying? It's like they teach it differently in different countries.
Yeah.
So it's like you get there and you're just fucked. Yeah. You get to high school, and like I remember handing in an assignment to my math teacher, and they were like, "This is right, but like, what the fuck?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't know, man. This is how it was taught.
Yeah.
It was Algebra 2, which is a horseshit class. It's too hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I saying about Spanish?
I
took Spanish since second grade.
Yeah.
And other classes were taught in Spanish.
Yeah.
And it fucked up my whole high school thing. I barely passed math. And it was just dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do speak a little bit of Spanish. I can understand Spanish better than I can speak it.
Yeah.
Because I went to Peru on a humanitarian mission about a year ago, and I understood every word that they said. I understood when a little Peruvian girl called my girlfriend a white bitch and walked right past her. I remember all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I could understand it. And but I can't speak it very well. So there's that.
I'm hoping that I'm taking a trip to Mexico in a week. And I'm hoping that when I'm there, that my 2 years of Spanish in high school are really going to help me.
No, you're screwed.
Yeah, I'm just desperately waiting for the moment when I look at, like, the runner. I'm going there because I'm playing a show. I'm a drummer. And whenever I go and play shows, we have a runner. And the runner just does what you ask them to do.
Really?
Yeah, it's really awesome because it's like...
There's like a dude that does that?
There's a dude that does that. They literally are like, what do you need? and you're just like, get me this, and they're like, okay, totally. I had a runner once go buy me a rug.
What?
I played a show in Chicago and there wasn't a rug on the stage, and you need a rug to set up a drum kit so it doesn't slide when you're playing. And he was like, is there anything I could do for you? And I was like, could you go buy me a rug? Because I don't have one and I definitely need one.
Did he pay for it out of his pocket?
No, I don't think so. There's, he gets paid by the venue, so like the venue covers it. I'm sure he has a card for them or something like that. But that was just like a super satisfying moment in my life where it's like I was there to play a show.
YouTube should have runners.
They definitely should. I think everybody should have a runner. It's the greatest feeling on earth. But point is, I know I'm going to be in Mexico in a week, and there's going to be a runner that I don't understand. And I'm just going to be like, agua.
Water.
Give me some water. And like, that's all I'm going to be able to ask for, because I don't know how to say rug in Spanish. Like, rugo? How do you say rug? Do you know?
Give me 1 second. And I will
Googling
search
it.
my memory. I will search my memory on how to say rug in Spanish.
Hey, why did you just pick up your phone?
Because I
Just looking at pictures of selfies,
it. Right? I miss it. Alfombra.
Alfombra.
Good luck. Go ask for an Alfombra.
Alfombra. Could I get an Alfombra?
Bring a cat. Have that be your rug. I have 2 black cats. I love them so much. One is so fat.
Yeah.
I love her. She's sitting right here.
They have an incredibly high tolerance for bullshit.
They really do.
Yeah.
Anthony.
Let's not talk about that.
You don't want to?
No.
He threw a water bottle at one.
It was really
It was
funny.
an empty water bottle.
It was empty.
My mom threatened to beat the shit out of him over the phone.
I was once talking to a friend of mine because I was at his house and we were practicing, and his cat walked inside of my bass drum, because a bass drum has a porthole to stick a microphone into, which is just small enough for a cat to like force its way into. So the cat's inside my drum, and I have a drumstick, and I said to him, am I allowed to scare your cat to death? And he looks at me and he goes, dude, that's like half of the fun of having a cat. It's just scaring your cats. And I was like, yeah, that really is half of the fun, isn't it? So I took my drumstick and I hit that drum so hard.
You're mean. That's
And
not cool.
I watched. You guys aren't going to be able to see it on like by listening to it, but I saw my drum do this. It
Like
just shook
shake.
back and forth.
That's
as this
mean.
poor cat
That's not
tried
cool.
to escape.
That's not cool. You're mean.
It was
You're mean.
funny.
You're mean.
I love cats. Hate dogs. Fuck those.
You don't like dogs?
No, I like dogs. I'm allergic though, so I can't have one.
Pussy. Can't fucking run, allergic to dogs. What can you do, Anthony? What can you do?
I can play drums and lift weights.
Debatably on the weights part.
Debatably, I'm adequate.
You're above average.
I'm above average.
You're pretty good. You're phenomenal for how long you've been going.
Thank you. 5 months in, I'm already benching 225 for reps. And by reps, I mean one.
What? I'm already benching 225 for reps. A single one.
One single rep. But it was
cool. It was awesome.
It was cool.
He did it.
Yeah.
315 for 2.
I probably
anybody
could have
asks.
gotten it more if I had tried, but I was only going for one. To be honest,
He only used one arm.
I did. I kept it right in the middle. And, I mean, to be honest, like, are we even sure that was 225? It might have been more. I don't know. I mean, maybe.
I didn't count it all.
I didn't count each pound. I just read the labels.
Exactly.
You know. Also,
Probably like 500.
yeah, I wouldn't have been able to do it if you did that thing though, where you like get different shaped weights that weigh the same by the label.
They do weigh the same.
They don't weigh the same. So like, in my head, you go to the gym and there are a bunch of weights that you can put on a bar. And some of them just look different because you can't, like, sometimes, like, you get weights from different places, I guess. They're different brands. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like, so there will be 2, like, weights that are both 45 pounds, but one of them will be, like, an octagon and the other one will be a circle. And I just look at him.
He's talking about plates.
Yeah, plates. And, like, I don't know how on earth you could look at those 2 things and say they weigh the same. I don't care if they both say they weigh 45 pounds. They weigh different. I don't give a fuck. They weigh different weights. One of them is 41 or 45.2 3 pounds, and the other one is like 44.9 pounds, and there's like a 0.4 pound.
They weigh the
there.
same.
You weigh the same, idiot. I'm sorry, that was uncalled
They
for.
weigh the same.
They don't.
It's all in your head.
I don't. It's not.
Yes, it is.
Different factories probably have different scales, and they probably have slight differences. And I'm sure there's a quality control thing where it's like it has to be in this range of weight for it to technically be accurate or something like that. You know, I'm right and you're wrong. And let's.
Hey, at
just
least
leave
all
it
the
at that.
dumbbells look the same.
Yeah.
In this new gym.
Yeah. The dumbbells at this gym are great, and they have 4 of each one instead of just 2.
What do you mean?
So like,
Oh, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
so there isn't
They have
just,
more
like-
than 4. I feel like there's 3 of each.
there's 3.
I think so. Is there not?
I feel like there's only 2 sets of 2 of each one. That way, like, if one guy is curling, 25-pound dumbbells, there could be another guy curling 25-pound dumbbells.
Huh. I feel like there's more.
There might be.
You find
I've
weights
only
at-
been there for a few days. I
Yeah,
might
you
be
find
wrong.
weights in weird places in that gym, though.
Yeah.
Like, you find the dumbbells in the cage. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What exercise were you doing? I mean, like, maybe a superset with, like, a single dumbbell? What?
I mean,
Are you curling in one arm and then switching to the other arm?
they could, I guess, be doing, like, a rear delt exercise. And then,
With a dumbbell?
and then, like, do a superset, and then, like, do some sort of...
With one dumbbell.
Oh, with one dumbbell? No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There was only the
I'm
130
thinking two
pound.
dumbbells.
There was only the 130 pound,
What
remember?
could you even do with that, then?
You could do, like, one arm at a time.
If you were doing, I guess, if you were in the cage and you were doing curls on the cage, but like, why would you ever do curls with one dumbbell? I mean, I get doing one at a time, but why just use one dumbbell? Just alternate each arm.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know how that weight got there.
Maybe somebody just wasn't tall enough to get to.
And
one
had
of the
to stand on the
and they
weight.
Had to stand on the weight so they could climb all the way to the top.
That
and-
could very well actually be
right?
what happened.
That makes sense because
There are
there's like,
some short people there.
there's an adjustable like pulley system where you could bring like the thing that holds the actual handle. You could bring it all the way to the top of this machine or all the way down or somewhere in the middle. And if it's all the way at the top and you're not very tall, you might need a stepping stool. And there's no stepping stools at the gym, but there are dumbbells. So,
Yeah.
And they're sturdy. Dumbbells are sturdy. They're big and they're flat.
Yeah. It's cool. It's a good gym.
Yeah, that's totally what happened.
It can be crowded sometimes, but it's good.
Yeah.
It's good overall. You see some weird shit in there sometimes.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the weird shit there. Because it's like, I know that at the gym we were going to, like, the more and more you're there, the more and more you realize there are just certain people that are there all the time and, like, certain weird things that always happen. Certain, like, people that are definitely, like, the alphas that just act way too alpha and they, like, tell you to get out of their way. Or like, even... that girl the other day when we were doing curls walked in front of you and just like totally ruined
that was like
one curl.
Gosh, that made me so mad.
That was just hilarious. He's in the middle of curling and this girl just walks right like against him, like completely restricting his mobility to lift his left arm. And like she's carrying around like this 20-pound like easy bar. It was funny.
It was whatever.
Yeah, she was in good shape though.
She was in good shape, but like,
Yeah.
you don't do that.
Yeah, you don't do that, but
Clearly, she's been there before. It's just she probably was she had her mind on other things.
yeah.
But it's just like, I feel like I'm not small at all, so it's hard to miss,
Yeah.
It's not like I'm the tiny guy lifting weights in the
It
corner.
must have absolutely just been like a distraction thing.
Yeah.
And like there are times where it's like either like you will get in somebody's way, but it's like a complete accident, or somebody will get in your way and it's an accident, and like somebody will apologize to the other one.
Yeah.
But she just like walked like into you basically.
Right. Oh,
know?
that was annoying. That was really annoying. I was just kind of like, really?
Yeah.
There was a path right next to me that she could have walked through.
There's a million different ways to walk in that gym because it's so big.
She just wanted to touch me.
Probably.
No.
I mean, it would have
was
shot. You're a
annoying.
very handsome young lad.
Why, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Gay. I wanted to just like, I don't know. In that moment, that's a moment where it's like you're angry, but it's not at all worth any comment at
Just
all.
finish lifting your weights.
Exactly.
Use that anger to help you lift. You
It's
know?
not. It wasn't even really like anger. Actually, it was more just like really,
frustration.
really. It's like when you see a bad driver on the road.
Yeah.
It's like really. You're doing that.
Yeah. That's
Really.
me. I'm the bad driver.
Have you ever ran into the like drivers on the road? They're like legitimately a crazy person, and they're like
Yeah.
flipping off everybody.
Yeah. Totally.
Was I with you when it was the guy in a tiny like white car, like tiny like a cube car, and he was like literally flipping off everybody?
I don't.
And he like
remember that.
rolled right up to me, flipped me off. No, I was with Blake. And he rolled up to me, flipped me off, like cuts me off.
Yeah.
And then like I literally did not a thing. I was just in that lane.
Yeah.
And then he like pulled up to another car and flipped him off, who was just in that lane. And I'm just like, what? What?
But you know, from if I remember correctly, I know that there have been 2 moments where you have driven past a Honda Accord, which I drive a Honda Accord. So like he'll be driving next to a Honda Accord and think it's me. So he'll flip them off because that's something that we just do whenever we pass each other in like our cars. It's like we just flip each other off for fun. And like he'll do it to a stranger because he thinks it's me, and then he'll realize like, oh no, that wasn't Anthony.
Done that like 3 times.
3 times. And then like he'll call me and be like, dude, I totally just flipped this person off. I thought it was you. This car looked like yours, and now I just feel weird.
What's like the craziest road rage you've ever witnessed?
I witnessed my uncle get road rage
Yeah.
and scream at another guy.
I witnessed my mom get road rage like a week ago.
Yeah?
It was great.
Like this one time I was driving with him. I was really young. I was probably like maybe 12. I don't know. And we were driving and we got to an intersection and my uncle rolls down his window, points at this one guy. I remember his face. He just looked young and scared. The guy rolled down his window and my uncle screamed at him, "You drive like shit, asshole!" And then drove off. And like that has been burned in my memory forever. Like I also remember there was this one time, same uncle by the way, different story. He got into a like some sort of altercation by driving, and the guy that like got pissed at him started like making a gun with his hand, like pointing a gun and like shooting him, like pretending to kill him. And I was just like, this is weird. I don't want to drive. Like I'm too
Ever?
Yeah, I'm never gonna get in behind the wheel and be a part of this shit.
Yeah.
But I don't ever get road rage. I will scream at somebody in my car, but never to their face.
I never get road rage either.
What I'm saying when I say I never get road rage, it means I'm never gonna stop next to somebody and be like, "What's your problem?"
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
It's just kind of like, ugh.
You just scream at them in your car.
I got road rage once.
Yeah.
And I was on my way home from like a dance. And I was in a bad mood. Because at dances, you leave either on cloud 9 or like in the dirt.
Yeah.
There is not a middle ground. It's just a thing.
Yeah.
And I was in my Camaro, and I have a nice Camaro. It's a fast Camaro. And there was this guy behind me, and you know, like when you're in the right lane, and obviously people want to turn right into somewhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes people expect you to like whip around them,
Yeah.
like go to the left lane and keep going. But I didn't do that because one, you don't have to do that. You just slow down, right, until they turn right, and then you go.
Yeah.
So there was another Camaro behind me, an older Camaro. And there was a van, and the van signaled right. And instead of flipping around him and going past him like I think a jerk would,
Yeah.
I just pumped on the brakes. And the Camaro behind me pumped on the brakes and laid on his horn. Like laid on it,
Yeah.
you know? And I had to get I was getting onto a highway. And my Camaro was much faster than this individual's Camaro. And he cut into the left lane, cut me off, revved at me, and then got on the highway. And I don't normally open up my car because it's dangerous. But I was like, yeah, now's the time. And I just put my foot on the gas.
Yeah.
And I just blew past him so badly. And that was a great moment. But, like, I was so mad.
Yeah.
So mad.
I just remembered one time I was driving. I got so mad at somebody, but I don't remember what happened. I just remember the anger, and I remember what I said. Because I'll just scream in my car. But what I said was so profound, it's always been a thing that I come back to every now and then, and I start saying again. Because completely with no thought behind it, I just screamed, "Fuckering fuckatash."
That's perfect. That is profound.
Yeah, it was like God was speaking through me at that moment. But I remember, like, when that happened, I, like, called a bunch of my friends, and I was like, I just, like, screamed this out loud.
That's great.
It was-
Why do people get so mad in cars? Like,
Because it's dangerous.
Genuinely, I get more mad in a car than I would ever get.
When you're driving in a car, your life's on the line. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, if somebody's going to, like, do something wrong and they could potentially crash into you, your car's on the line, so it's going to be, like, a thing, like, you know, you could lose money on it, or, like, you know, you don't want your shit getting damaged. And then, like, on top of that, if it's really bad, you could get hurt, and you don't want to get hurt. So when somebody's in their car and they're driving a weapon, essentially, like, and they're coming at you, you're just like, asshole, you're going to, like, kill me. Don't do that.
Right.
It's a completely different mental state. And it seems so casual because driving is such a normal thing where it's like, you know, you just go places, but it's like, it is really dangerous. People die all the time driving. So, you know, there's kind of like that heightened, you know, sense of fear when you're in a car. It brings the anger out of you.
Right. That makes sense. But yeah, I mean, road rage is not cool. Like I
Yeah.
said, my mom got road rage. She was trying to get on an exit, and a lady sped up so she couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
And this lady flipped my mom off as she was going past, because my mom was in an awful mood.
Yeah.
Because I went to a football game, and then we had flown back, and our plane was an hour early. And my mom's a nice person, so it's like she didn't want us to wait at the airport for an hour.
Yeah.
So she went through rush hour traffic, and people in Portland do not drive fast. People in Portland drive slow.
Yeah.
My mom is not a slow driver.
No.
My mom has a major problem, and it's the same problem that my sister has in a car, and it's just that they're overconfident.
Yeah.
So anyway, my mom is driving a Tahoe at this point, and the person that flipped her off is in like a tiny Camry. My mom starts riding this lady's bumper and like honking her horn.
Oh, Jesus.
And my dad is in the car, and my dad is very mild-mannered when it comes to stuff like that. And I'm just in the back seat, and we're just like quiet because we know who's boss in that moment, right? Like, we know, like, she's crazy right now.
Yeah.
Like, you don't mess with her.
Yeah.
Like, she's a saint.
Yeah, it's
every
like,
other second.
It's like waking somebody up when they're sleepwalking.
Yeah.
Like, they'll attack you, like in Step Brothers.
Really? Is that a real thing, though?
You know, I've heard it's a real thing. I'm sure it doesn't look the way it looks in Step Brothers, where they grab a Christmas tree and, like, you know, bring it in the room and throw your, you know, stepdad down the stairs.
Uh-huh.
But I'm sure that must be a thing where it's like if you shock somebody out of sleepwalking, it might mess with them in a way.
I know my grandma walked into my house once, unannounced, and I rushed at her. Like, I was gonna...
Oh, because you thought that...
she was, like, standing in the shadows.
Yeah.
But, like, your body just kind of, like,
Takes
goes,
over.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm normally a flight type of guy. I'll be honest. Like, I'm a big dude, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not a fighter.
Yeah.
I'm a flighter. We went to Halloween Horror Nights, right? Did I ever look like I was once going to fight one of those people?
No. We went to Halloween Horror Nights.
A few nights.
Yeah, I think we went like 3 times together.
Yeah.
And it's a really, really weird moment when you're going through those haunted houses with the stupendous wave. Because you look at him, he's a really tall guy. He's well built. He's really muscular. And you think like, oh, this guy doesn't get scared. And then it's like, he'll tell me, oh, when we go into the haunted house, you have to walk in front of me. That way I feel safe. And then I'm like, okay. And then, like, as we'll walk through, he'll keep his hands on my shoulders so he doesn't lose me. And he'll feel more comfortable. He doesn't feel like he could be attacked. And then if he gets scared, he will fully embrace me, like wrap his arms around me. And then I'm just looking at him like, dude, are you all right, man? Like, you're getting way too scared of this stuff. And then, like, he'll, like, back off and be like, I'm not gay. But, like, it's just it's a wonderful experience being scared with the Stupendous Wave. Or watching a horror movie with him, because he'll bring a hat and he'll watch the movie through the hat. He doesn't like getting scared at anything.
No, I love it. What are you talking about?
You love it. You just suck at it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like the way I feel about running.
But
I
it's
love
not,
running. I just suck at it.
But it's not like it's not like I'm like so afraid that like I won't do it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not afraid to do it. I'm just afraid during it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but also like, you know, if we ever watch a horror movie like at your house, like you have like lightsabers.
Ready.
No shocker. And whenever like you get scared, you'll turn your lightsaber on for confidence, I think. I don't know. You know, it's just something you do. You have a hard time during horror movies, but you get through them.
I love them.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm someone that will like, oh, that's too scary, I'm not going to watch it. It's like, oh, that's scary, let's watch it. I am awesome during these.
Yeah.
I get so scared.
We watched a lot of horror movies this year, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Halloween recently.
Like 2 good ones, and then the rest were fine. Or not fine, mostly terrible.
Do you call A Quiet Place a horror movie? No, it's a thriller.
Yeah.
Even Halloween is more of a thriller than a horror movie.
Yeah, but it definitely fits in that genre, though.
Yeah, there's only one really scary movie this year.
Yeah, Hereditary.
Yeah.
Hereditary is great. The Nun was terrible.
Yeah, The Nun
Insidious sucked.
Insidious was bad. What else was there? I watched the Netflix movie The Apostle. Have you heard of that?
No. What is it?
It's like about a cult that kidnaps a lady and her brother goes to like this island to rescue her.
Yeah.
It's not scary. It's just kind of got like some creepy imagery and some gory moments, but like that was pretty good. It wasn't scary. Hereditary is like The Witch, where it's like those movies are like genuinely just like heart chilling.
It's all about the tension.
I didn't even understand The Witch the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like so much and so different than I anticipated. Same with Hereditary. Like even the trailer for Hereditary was great.
Yeah, and Hereditary, as opposed to The Witch, is definitely a way more conventional horror movie.
Yeah.
It's just executed in the same way that The Witch is executed, where it's like it's not constantly trying to scare you. It just wants to make you feel like shit the entire time.
Hereditary is great.
Yeah.
Have you seen it again?
No, I've only seen it the one time.
I've seen it twice.
I saw it the one time. We saw it together in the theater, and
could have seen Deadpool.
We could have gone to see Deadpool too, but I pushed him to see Hereditary. I was like, I heard great things about this movie. I want to go see this. And he was just like, can't we just have a good time? You know, can't we just enjoy our lives today? Why do we have to force ourselves to watch this? And then it's like when you watch Hereditary, like it's just constant misery. You're just, you know, enthralled by this like horrible tension, and then like at the end all the tension releases and it just scares the shit out of you.
Right. It's like, you know, in horror movies it has all these small little things that build to a moment, and then the release is done. And once the release is there, you feel better for like a few minutes, literally. But Hereditary, the whole film is building to this one thing.
Yeah.
And the second that it's so impressive because the way it scares you is not the way normal movies scare you, because some way brilliantly they figured out how to hold that release. Yeah. Like keep it going for how long is that finale? Like 20 minutes? It's like 20 minutes, right?
It's got a really good third act where it's like every question is answered and
in the worst way possible.
In the worst way possible, and also it's like just it even holds off on jump scares too. There's really not a lot of jump scares.
There's like 2 jump scares.
Yeah.
It's like the mom runs out of the shadows at one point, and then there's like a naked guy behind him. That's it.
But it doesn't say like we're scaring you now. It's just showing you something scary.
Right.
And when you're witnessing that like throughout the movie, it's never like that in your face. It's always like, away from you. It's in like the corner of the frame, and like it holds on it for a really long time. Like when she's on the roof over the son's bed. And
Yeah,
it's like,
she's on the ceiling.
Yeah, she's on the ceiling. It's like you don't realize like that she's there for like a second, and then like once you notice it,
And like the light is shifting throughout the
yeah,
shot.
and like it's there for like 10 seconds, and it just makes you feel crazy because you're waiting for that buildup, and then it doesn't really happen. Like there's no release to that tension. And then when you get towards the end, it's not so much that there's a release towards the tension, but it's like those things that they just show you that are scary are just way closer to the screen now, you know?
Yeah.
They don't hold back on it. And then it's like there are a few shots in the end that are just terrifying.
You know the shot where it's like you see her on the ceiling again, and he's like looking around, and he finds his dad in the living room.
Yeah.
And she's like above.
Uh-huh.
And he like, I forget what he's looking at, but he looks down at something for a second. He might be looking at the dad. And then it switches back to that shot, and she's not there anymore.
Yeah. It's terrifying.
It's not as scary as the first time, though.
Yeah.
Because the first time is just shot so, like, well. It's like you see a foot in the corner of the frame.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that? And then the light from the treehouse shifts, and you see, like, oh, that's his mom.
Yeah. The light from the treehouse too was creative because like they make it glow in this really like red color.
That's the heating. The heating.
Yeah, and it's like a heating unit because it's cold outside. And but when you see it at first, you're like, oh, like demons, red? I don't know. And then they show it to you, and it's like a completely normal thing. It's just scary imagery with a very regular situation.
Do you want to know something crazy about that movie that I noticed the second time?
What?
Do you know where it takes place?
No,
Utah.
it takes place in Utah.
It takes place in Utah.
That makes sense.
There are Utah license plates everywhere, and it looks just like Utah. I'm from Utah.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Utah?
I've never been to Utah.
It looks just like Utah, like in the woods.
Yeah.
Like you're like, yeah, that's Utah. Or it's like those giant fields that you see. I remember she goes to the craft store, and I was specifically looking because I remember thinking the first time that I saw it that a lot of it looked like Utah. It's like Utah, Idaho.
Yeah.
And sure enough, all the license plates in the scene where she walks out of the craft store and meets Joan. Again, is that her name? Right? Joan.
I think so. I think her name is Joan.
I'm surprised I remember that. Joan, again, it's like they're all from Utah, which makes it crazy because Utah is like this really religious place, right?
Yeah.
So.
That's interesting. Is Utah similar in like the way that everything below Utah is, where it's like all just nothing?
What do you mean?
Like I recently took a trip where I saw like every state from Florida to California, and it's like once you get like to Oklahoma all the way to like halfway through California, there's nothing. So it's like in Arizona and in Texas and in New Mexico, like there's just dirt.
There are parts of Utah that are like that, yeah, for sure. But there are parts of Utah that are great.
Yeah.
Like there's Moab. I remember I tried to convince you to take a trip to Moab. I still think you should. I think you'd really have a fun time.
One day.
It's like in the middle of the desert. Moab's like a city in the middle of the desert.
Yeah.
And it's like red rock everywhere.
Yeah.
It's where Arches National Park is. You know, you ever see that arch?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh. And it's Delicate Arch, I think it's called. It's amazing. And you can like go down the Colorado River, river rafting. You have like ATVs, which are so much fun, Hummer tours, like hiking. It's great. Like they have natural waterfalls that are great.
Yeah, I remember when you were telling me about Moab, like this was like years ago. I was just like, that all sounds great, but I don't like bears because bears kill people.
There's no bear.
No, we looked it up. Remember, there are bears there, and I remember thinking like, I don't want to go anywhere where there's bears. Like bears constantly kill people. It's like a thing. Like you know,
A bear killed a person in Canada yesterday.
yeah. See, that's exactly what I'm saying. But
But it's rare. But do you want me to read you the story? Like I can get it.
sure.
Like yesterday, I think it was in Canada. Like a grizzly bear. Yeah, a woman and her baby were killed by a grizzly bear in northern Canada.
That sucks.
Yeah. It
you-
says. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Have you heard of that like bear selfie thing that's happening, where it's like there are people that they will stumble across a bear and their instinct isn't to run away from the bear. It is to take a selfie with the bear in the background. And then because of that, so many more people are getting killed by bears.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Those people deserve it.
Honestly, if you're taking a picture with a bear, I agree. Like, overpopulation's a thing. you know, we got to get rid of them somehow.
So this is what happened. They were in a cabin. She had just had this baby, apparently.
Yeah.
And the dad was like out hiking or something. And he was walking back to the cabin, and a grizzly bear rushed him. And he shot the bear and killed the bear. And he gets back to his cabin, and he finds his wife and little daughter, I think, dead.
Aw, that's terrible.
Right.
See, that's why I don't want to go to Moab. No, but ever since that though, I've gone like hiking in mountains, and you know, places where there are bears. And basically, what I've learned is like bears like to stay really high in mountains.
Have you ever seen a bear in the wild?
No,
It's terrifying.
I'm sure
I'll
is.
tell you a story after this.
So there was this one time though I was hiking in Virginia, and it was so awesome. It was just like beautiful. And when we were hiking, I saw this giant mass in a tree, and I was like, "What is that? That looks like a bear." It was as big as a bear, and it was really dark. And I was just like, "That's a bear. That's a bear." It climbed up the tree.
Did you freak out?
And I freaked out for a second, but then like I got closer and I realized it wasn't a bear, and
What was it?
it was a beehive that was the size of a bear.
That's scarier than a
yeah,
bear.
and I was just like, okay, I got to get away from this tree. Like, I'm not gonna stay here next to this 350-pound beehive. It was absolutely terrifying. And also that day when I went hiking, me and my friend who went hiking, we went to this like information center where like they could tell you a bunch of stuff, and neither of us had gone hiking before. This was our first time.
That's crazy.
And I asked like if there was anything for us to look out for, because we are not used to being in Virginia. And it was like, is it dangerous? What's dangerous? What should we look for? What should we avoid? And the guy goes like, there's a lot of moss on the rocks, so like be careful about that. And I was like, okay, so that's like the biggest thing. Like, he's like, yeah, we just lost a family to it last week. And I was like, are you kidding me?
People slipping on it?
Yeah, people slip on the moss and they fall off the mountain. And I was just like, out of all the things...
That is not what you expected.
Yeah, out of all the things, I'm expecting like, yeah, there are bears, don't go near the bears. Or like, oh, there's this spider, it'll bite you and you'll die. Don't get near those spiders. Check your shoes if you take them off for some reason. I don't know. But he was just like, yeah, don't slip. Just don't fall off the mountain.
In Utah, the mountains are huge.
Yeah.
It's the Rocky Mountains. Huge.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
I remember the trip I just took to California. The mountains were gigantic.
They're way bigger in Utah, dude. You ain't seen nothing.
Yeah, but I thought like the mountains in Virginia were really big, and then it's like I saw the ones in like California, and I was like, oh my god, like, or at least like leading up to California. I can't remember exactly where the bigger mountains were, but that was just like insane. Like, also in California, there's a lot of smog, and I had been to California before, and I didn't notice it, but I noticed that. Oh Jesus! He just showed me a picture of the mountains. Those look like New Zealand mountains.
Yeah.
Who needs New Zealand? Just go to Utah.
Utah's a fun place.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's boring too, some places for sure, but like, it's pretty damn fun.
See, it's funny that like you say this, because I remember when you came down here, and we live in Florida. When you came here, you were like, "Oh my God, everything's so green and beautiful. Like everything in Utah is cold and dead."
Yeah, in the wintertime it is, for
Yeah.
sure. Absolutely.
Here in Florida, we don't get winters.
Nope, it's great.
Just yesterday,
we have
though.
2 days of winter.
Yeah.
2 days of winter.
There was enough winter for me yesterday. When we were running last night, it was so cold. And
it was
by
like
so
40
cold,
degrees.
Yeah, I got a sore throat from running, and it was probably because it was cold. And he kept saying to me like, "Breathe through your nose," and I'm just like, "It's cold, man. Like my nose is freezing. I don't want to breathe with my nose." But that's not a problem we have very often in Florida.
No. I gotta
Just
tell
got
you.
some gators.
I gotta tell you the grizzly bear story.
All right.
So this is what happened. Have you ever heard of Yellowstone?
Yeah.
Yes.
The world's largest super volcano that's
Yep.
going to blow up and kill all of us
Yep.
anytime because it's overdue.
True. Anyway, there are a lot of bears there.
Yeah.
A lot of bears. There's some in like a park in captivity, but there are like stupid amounts of
Yeah,
bears.
because it's like a preserved park, right? Like,
Yeah.
They don't tear any of that down. So
Right.
There's a lot of space for them.
Right. And it's crazy. There are like geysers there too.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Anyway, we were walking and there was a grizzly bear no, we weren't walking. We were in a car and there was a grizzly bear in a field. We were like backed up in this line of cars for like, it was 20 minutes until we finally saw what made this massive backup. And there was a grizzly bear in the middle of the field and there were people, must have been like 50 yards away from it taking pictures. You think 50 yards, that's a long ways, right?
Yeah.
Bears are fast. Anyway, it is. You have no idea just how massive it is until you can see a person in the distance.
Yeah.
And then see the bear like off. It's crazy. Like that thing, it is game over if that thing wants you. Anyway, the bear was like just chilling, and there were like must have been 30 people at one point taking pictures of it. At one point, the bear stands up. And just it standing up made a group of people start to run. And then the bear got up and started to run. It ran like 10 yards to the people. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
It was terrifying. We were in our car at this point. It runs like 10 yards towards the people. And it is like closing ground on them. It's stupid how fast it is.
Yeah.
But it eventually stopped, thank goodness. But like no more pictures were taken of that thing.
God, I can't even imagine that. Is a grizzly bear the biggest bear, or is the
Polar bear's bigger.
Yeah.
Polar bear is actually one of the only animals left on the planet that actively will hunt people.
Yeah?
Yeah,
That's cool.
that is cool,
I
right?
mean, it's like scary, but it's cool.
One of the only animals that will actively go out of its way to like see a person and hunt it. Because black bears don't.
They don't.
I don't think grizzly bears do either.
Yeah, I think grizzly bears just kind of attack things that they're being fucked with.
Yeah,
You know?
like territorial
Yeah.
stuff.
Or they'll even go as far as to rape Leonardo DiCaprio.
But like a polar bear will like, if it sees you, it will hunt you down
That's crazy.
and like try to kill you.
That's so interesting.
There was a guy-
I wonder what clicks in a polar bear's head that doesn't in the other.
It lives in the Arctic. I'm sure it's
just-
cold.
It's cold and he's bored and mad.
Can you imagine though? Because we're not used to being hunted.
Yeah. No, we broke out of the food chain.
Right.
You know, we get to live that awesome life where you get to just buy all your animals at the grocery store instead of chase them across a mountain and then eat it without cooking it or seasoning it. You know, that's that cush human life we got right now.
But it's just like, I wonder how we would react being hunted by something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what is it like? Like, what type of mode do we go into? Like, we still got fight or flight, obviously. But, like, how do our bodies react and how do our brains react to that? Like, how would our brains react to something is stalking us? Because you know that feeling where it's like someone's watching me?
Yeah.
The only things that actively hunt us are us. Mm-hmm. But, like, I don't know. I bet it's so scary, man.
Yeah, and there's like a comfort in knowing that if there was going to be a person that was going to kill you, it would most likely be by either gunfire or stabbing. But like a bear will rip you into pieces and eat you.
Right.
Know? It's a different kind of death. It's way more gruesome.
Question for you. Are you afraid of sharks, too?
Not really. I mean, I don't go to the beach very frequently, and whenever I do, I don't really think of sharks or anything. And Jaws doesn't scare me.
Yeah.
Like that stuff doesn't scare me. The only time I would say that sharks are scary is like when you see like videos. I just saw this video of a great white shark, and it was massive.
Yeah.
And like there's people in a cage filming it in the ocean, and as they're filming it, a bigger great white shark, which seems impossible because this one's gigantic, comes and bites the other great white shark, and like as the great white shark gets bit and swims away, there's footage of its like neck torn up by the shark bite of the other great white shark. And I just saw that video and I was like, I'm not fucking with sharks. Like,
Yeah.
that is just like,
Because sharks scare me way more than bears do.
yeah.
Yeah,
Just
because
you first off, you can't outswim a shark.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like not only are they bigger and stronger than you, just like a bear was, but you're not in their environment.
Yeah.
I mean, you are. You're in
their
their. You're in
environment.
their world.
Yeah.
You're in an area where humans can do it, but not well.
Yeah.
It's like you and running. It's like. It's like they're.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome. It's like they're in a place, but they can do it, but not well, like swimming.
Yeah.
And the idea of like a shark attack, like you're not going to see that stuff coming, right? It's going to grab you by the leg and it's going to rip the leg off, or it's going to take you under. And that is terrifying.
Yeah, and also like an interesting thing about like sharks is there's like this statistic where it's like most people get bit by sharks in shallow water.
Yeah.
And it's like that's because that's where most people are.
Right.
Most people swim at the beach. But the
And
thing
bull sharks hunt in shallow water, which is
Yeah.
the most dangerous type of shark,
bull
actually.
sharks are really cool. Like
You'd think a great white would be the most dangerous.
you know that bull
though.
sharks could live in fresh water?
Yeah.
It's fucking scary as hell. But like, you know, I know that like if I'm at the beach and I'm swimming, that chances are there's not a great white there. If there is a shark, it's probably really small.
Oh, there are sharks there.
There are sharks.
In Cocoa Beach.
There's
they
a
are
shitload of sharks.
everywhere. Have you ever seen it from the top of the pier where it's like the sun is shining perfectly and it shows you just
No.
how many there are? You would never swim there
We
again.
have to go and do that.
No, you don't. You'd never get in the water. I know you. No, you wouldn't.
We went to Cocoa Beach. There's this spot in Cocoa Beach where there's this like bioluminescent water.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we like went there in the middle of the night so you could see it light up. And it's like the day before this, there was like a shark attack in the news.
Oh, yeah.
somewhere near there. And it's like, look at us, we're just in the water, just lighting up as an easy target for any potential predator.
I remember our friend. We have a friend named Nick.
Mm-hmm.
He's really cool. He's a little bit crazy, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
And it was like we were there for an hour. I was there before you were, like an hour before
Yeah.
you were. And it was like no one was going to get in the water. And then Nick showed up, and I mentioned like, hey, I kind of want to swim, but I'm nervous. And then Nick is like, oh, I'll go. And then I was like, oh, crap, now I have to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Nick and I were the first people in the water.
Uh-huh.
But after you get in the water and you start splashing around, it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The fear kind of just goes away. And
really
also,
does.
If you're at the beach with a lot of people, like I always have this comfort in thinking like statistically, it's like what are the chances that I'm the one that gets bit? There's so many other targets.
Right.
Like I'll be fine.
That was a fun night for
was
the
a fun
first half.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about
Yeah.
the second half. Something
No
happened.
reason to get into it.
Yeah.
But
That was. I want to go do that again.
yeah, no, that would be fun.
It only happens like once a year.
Oh, really?
The luminescent stuff. And apparently it's way better than it was that night. Like this
Yeah.
was like one of the worst years
Yeah, it
that
was
they've
kinda
ever
dull.
had it.
Still
It was
cool,
dull,
though.
but it was fun going to the beach at night.
It was still cool. There was like a campfire.
There was a
and all that.
campfire. There was
A
food.
lot of
A
people.
whole bunch of people, all young people our age. No like adults there. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
This podcast is currently running at like an hour and 12 minutes.
Oh, do you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think it'd probably be best
Sounds
if we
good.
like cut it. And also, sharks and beach is a good topic to end off of.
Right.
We talked like not at all about comic books.
Here's
movies
an
or Star
idea.
Wars. What?
You need to cut this up into clips, like our buddy Joe Rogan.
Are you gonna tell me how to do my job, bud? And by my job, I mean like
That's a great idea.
it is a good idea. I'll do something with this.
That's
So-
going to be a lot of work.
So, warning to everybody listening to this: like this is very much in its infancy, and we will try to get it as good as we can. I'm determined to get this thing entertaining.
Sharks are entertaining.
Sharks are entertaining.
You
But,
mean to tell me sharks aren't entertaining, Anthony?
So I don't know what day this is going up yet, but it will go up, and I will try my best to keep you guys updated with everything. Have to still do some work on like the whole name change thing and.
How are you going to keep them updated? Where can they find you?
Oh, do you guys want to follow me on Instagram? Sure you do. You could do that right now.
Are you going to update them there, or are you just going to post pictures of yourself?
I'm going to post pictures of myself working out because I'm vain. But like you can follow me there, and if you need to message me directly, I will contact you and tell you when I'm doing things. So follow me at Anthony_Alicio if this is on a YouTube video.
How do you spell Alicio, my dudes?
Aliseo.
Thank you
You
for
should
that.
all know how to spell Anthony. It's a pretty common name. But find me there if you need to find me. You can follow The Stupendous Wave on Instagram as well, at The Stupendous Wave. Or you can follow him on Twitter. His tweets are really funny.
Oh, shucks, mister.
Yeah, no, you do have funny tweets. And, of course, subscribe to The Stupendous Wave and The Marvelous Wave if you haven't, which I have no idea how you would have found me if you didn't find that already. But just do all that. I'll post this. It'll be a thing. And, of course, you know that I posted this if you're listening to it right now.
Anthony, you need to wrap it up, bud.
Okay, I'm wrapping
This is
it
the
up.
worst part.
Yeah, it's awkward, but it's like...
Just be like, thank you guys so much for watching.
I gotta let everybody know what's happening, man. So like, this is just bear with me is what I'm saying. I will get you guys some content. All right. Anyway, it was lovely talking to y'all. Bye bye.